Ready? Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala khairul mursalin. Muhammadin al-Nabi al-Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd, yaqul Allahu ta'ala fil Quran al-Kareem, inna Allaha wa malaikatuhu yusalluna ala nabi ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi was-sallimu tasliman. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Maulana Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Okay, I'm gonna do the bulk of this on Tuesday. Technically, I had plans to go back to Oakland a couple of weeks ago. I came out here to pick up, to go up, pick up my daughter, bring her back. Then this stuff with the Islamic Republic with Iran kicked off. When it kicked off, I said it's better for me to stay put because this stuff is important and it has to be explained to people what's going on. Okay. As we were saying a little while ago, that I don't want to, this is not a bragging about what's going on, but it's analysis of where we are and what we're, so you always have to analyze where you are. This is 2020, and we've always had a 2020 vision. Not always, but we had that as an embarkation point that this is, no fireworks on that day, but so we're into the psychological stage that we're in. Some of the things that happened before, during this period, we won't do because we already overdid them in that period. And we are where we are based on reality and research. And reality says for sure, first of all, our criteria, Quran, Sunnah, right? And that is, and it should always be Quran, Sunnah, history. The history of things. And you notice weaved in between all our talks is something about history. When the aircraft carrier changed places with the battleship. Why? Because it could go farther. Battleship, they can shoot 20 miles they can ravage the border areas or along the coast, But you could send, World War II was the first time they had battles where you couldn't even see your enemy because you were sending planes. Each group sending planes from aircraft carriers, right? Aircraft carriers are out of date now. They're way out of date. They don't serve no purpose, but it looks impressive to have a big, gigantic, trillion-dollar aircraft carrier with trillion-dollar planes on it that you could do right there from your living room, like working you can push your buttons right in your living room or in a little hole in the ground or in the side of a mountain, right? And the battleship and the aircraft carrier technically is out of date. It costs too much. It's a waste of time. I'll tell you just briefly, I didn't mean to tell. Iran has a very inexpensive but effective defense system. It depends on, if you looked in the, follow They make their own petty tanks, their own troop carriers. They make them themselves now, instead of buying them for other people. And the more they do that, the better they're going to get. It's just simple. Don't worry about it. Just like we talked about cooking the other day. I said, man, this rice is good. This and this corn. So this is great. This is great. I like it. You know why? All you got to do is do it a few times and you're going to get better and better and better. And if you're younger, you're going to improve. Or you're going to say, pretty soon they'll be saying, yeah, that was good stuff. But now this here, this is the modern up-to-date taste. That's the way things are. That's the way things should be. So, I didn't say this food tastes. No. Shoot, this right? Because that's the rule. All you gotta do, I don't care what it is, just do it. If you get enough time to do it, that's why we got wiped out in rebellion. We wasn't prepared. Hell, we didn't know you know what I mean? We didn't know anything about rebellion. Now, we had the idea that Malcolm X knew about revolution. Dr. King, he knew about changing America. Basically, his idea was closer to right than Malcolm's was at the time. But you notice Malcolm started easing in that direction, and King started easing in his direction. We're going to say, if they would have been left alone, I would say they would have came out with a perfect combination for their time. That's why they got rid of it. You have to be scientific, a specialist, to be around for over 50 years in rebellion, in automatic rebellion. You have to be. And you have to have skill. You're not going to just get lucky. You're going to have to know how to fight the white man and how to, oh, boss man, I just playing with you, man. I just over here talking. You can't pay no attention. Niggas don't know nothing, boss man. You know I'm just playing with you. You got to know how to talk to them like that. The old folks did. They knew how to get anything. My father's generation, born in 1900, I watched them. They knew how to get what they needed from the white man for us, their children. And they knew it wasn't the time to be, I'll give you an example. You know the way they always had a big white man in each little small town in the South. That stuff is true. In our town, it was Ben Word. I think he owned almost everything, and it was a crew, W.W. West, Ben Word, all of them. And my father was close to Ben Word. So when my father and my second to the oldest brother went back down to the South, and they was talking about it. And when my brother and my father went to see what they would say, Mr. Word, Ben Word said, so-and-so, I miss you more than any nigga ever left here. And my brother was, in California. He was 13 when they left. So he got to California, and my father described him, just mind your own business. Because he was back in the 50s, you can't have a white man say, I miss you more than any nigga, but my father was born in 1900. 1900. That modern stuff they show on the TV about how niggas acted, that's bullcrap. That's jive. Niggas took their hat, yes sir, no sir. That's exactly what they got off the sidewalk and everything else. If they show you a nigga talking crazy to white folks on these modern TV shows, that's their hope that it was like that. It was not like that at all. It wasn't like that. I remember I was born down there. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. That's what you did. So that was the behavior pattern. So my brother, he was mad because that's what my father was putting up with. But my father didn't know how to get anything they wanted from the white folks. That was the best they could do. That was great. Right? So they knew how to, oh, boss man, they just tell them. What they told the white man was stuff. Basically, they didn't say it in words, but the boss man, you a good white man. Oh, yes, you're a good white man. And you lets me do this and that. Of course, you're just a wonderful white man. Now, you know I'm looking out for you, boss man, but they just, shit, excuse me. My father was taking what they wanted, man. Niggas, we had mules. Mr. Word had tractors. I remember our crop in 1950 and 1951, we used Ben Word's tractor. We had big old cotton wagons. We had wagons. Mr. Word had a Chevy truck, 1950 Chevy truck pickup. We used that all the time. The tractor. When I was 6 years old, my brother that was 19, he was 19, he'd be driving a tractor. I'd be sitting on a tractor ride. I never did a day's work in my life down there. So to me, it was wonderful. And I was telling my father, oh, it's so beautiful down here. He said, my father was born there. He didn't see it the same way I did. Right? What I'm trying to tell you is this. The combinations of what you use, they never let niggas get. The skill and the ability to learn how to deal with the system. You know, sure you might have the right idea, but they don't give you the time to develop, you know, and they never did. That's why, do simple math. How many people from the days of rebellion are active now? If we mention a few big Negro names, some of them just got out of prison. Maybe in the New York area, I go visit them one time. Maybe leave a little package and then that's it. Because you go and you may say, now, you're a Muslim. This is what you can do. We can help you with that. So just let me know what they don't let you know nothing. They don't want to do nothing. And it's not bad. It's that once you've been under boss man for 30, 35 years, see, I don't understand in depth because I never did that. But I understand what it looks like. And when people do that and they come out and they don't have no aggression or fight, or, you know what I mean? And they might have been the biggest revolutionaries, you know, on the platform. But I know the numbers, what it takes out of people. And over that long period of time, when people have control over your life for that long, you become subservient. When you go to the bathroom, where you work and everything, and you have to ask permission. It's habit forming. Now there's a difference. There's a definite, I didn't mean to talk about this, but in doing time, there's a period, there's a changeover period. Some is 5 years, some is 7 to 8 years, stuff like that. But in that period, there comes a time when, they say all your molecules, everything in your body changes over every 7 years or something like that. But there's a physical change in you. Cement, steel, clanging, there's old time, clanging bars and all of that. I looked at people that did 7 years or more. It's a change. It's a change. It makes you a certain kind of way. The closer you get to that 7-year period, it might happen to some people in 5. It may take some people 12 years before that. But after you've been in that, remember your environment, cement, steel, permission, regulation, no decisions to make. They talk about it all the time. Once you get institutionalized, you may not even like it outside no more. Nobody will say, I don't like it outside anymore. But you ever notice some people have done a long time do little dumb stuff to go back to prison? Yeah. They do little dumb stuff to go back to prison. Why? They know where everything is. They don't have to make no decisions on nothing. They've gotten used to it. That's miserable. That's terrible. I never did that much time. I did a lot of, if you add it all up, maybe I did 13 years or something like that. But it wasn't all. When I would go to prison, when I was a younger kid, they got us early. But that's when we were just playing in the street and stuff, 12 years old. You get out at 14 years old. Well, I wasn't doing nothing but messing around. Then you out, go back 14, and then you're 16 when you get out. Then you go back when you're 17, and then you're 20 when you get out. It's not a big deal. It's just things that you're not used to. Like, for instance, I'll just get back to it in a minute. When I first got married, we was rich by then, but I was maybe 21 or something like that. Maybe even 22, I don't know. So, and we had a lot of money saved up. And I have the pictures right here. I had 3 Cadillacs out there in front of the house. And at least something like $25,000 cash. That's like $250,000 now. So I was nigga rich, And I did this little light hustle, $50 to $100 a day. That means I may see one person today, maybe 2. But in other words, I could see him at home. I did just enough money where that was old money. So you'd acquire new money. Just, enough money to eat off of, to have a good time. So after about a year, my wife said, it was just at the right time too, because I was getting ready to crank back up again. But just about that time, she says, our poor little son, and the people come to the house. I said, you're right. There's only marijuana, but you don't want people to come into the house. I said, that's right. So I got another joint. Remember, I closed down everything that I had. I closed it all down. And now we just have a nice apartment. We're having a very good time. So she says, yeah, it's, if you could, change the pattern a little bit. So it's just the right time. Now I got another joint out closer to where we're from, right smack in the middle of everything. And I was out there most of the day, most of the time, and doing business. And she said, well, you're never home and all that. And I hit her upside the head. I said, You just said you wanted, I didn't realize. I hadn't been around women that long to know. I mean, when you're a little kid, you just have a little girlfriend, how you doing? But I didn't actually know. When I think about it, I should have known, but I didn't know that you could buy a sister a brand new house and she could say to you 2 months later, do you really love me? Right? Now, a nigga, if you buy a nigga a Benz, if you buy yourself a new Benz, and then you go, homeboy, let me hook you up, man. Would you ever ask your homeboy that just bought you a Benz, you really down with me, man? You really, right? It would be insane for a man to do that. I didn't grow up with men all the time, so I have boy habits and men habits. I had no idea how the hell I'm gonna be here and out there at the same time. It's not even, and I was technically mad. I thought she was harassing me. I couldn't even think, wait a minute. It's simple, right? Tell the truth. That's a simple. It happens all the time. Look, girls do that. That's what they do. That's the way girls are. But I hadn't been around them intimately. You know, they picked me up at 12. I didn't know nothing about it. And then take 14. Well, by the time I get out at 14 and a half, I'm headed back to the penitentiary. And I get out at 16, and I go back at 17. All we was doing between 16 and 17, riding around in a little car, you know, have a little girl every now and then, and then little stuff like that. But I didn't know, I had no idea that you could buy a woman a brand new house this month, and next month she can have, do you really love me? What? Because you be adding things up, and you know, I just was flabbergasted. I just didn't know what to do. I said, I thought it was harassment. You know, I thought my wife was harassing me. You know, because I just didn't know. I had no idea. I never lived with a woman all the time. I had girlfriends who run around the street, but I never lived with a woman. I was busy. So the point I was making was about these penitentiaries and the time you do in them. All of mine was broken up. You know what I mean? So then, when I got out of the penitentiary that time when I was 20,